My meditations are every Thursday and they cycle through different Tibetan Buddhist meditations that are aimed at achieving specific results. And we were doing them, we were changing it every week. And now we've been doing these sort of deep dives into each practice per month so that we kind of get the rhythm of a certain meditation and kind of go deeper. And then next month we'll switch off. So this month we're focusing on Tong. Is anyone has anyone never practiced Tonglen before? You can put up an emoji. Okay, awesome, amazing. That's exciting. So the way my classes usually work is I talk for a little while, like 5 or 10 minutes, depending on the content I want to share, just to give some context, and so you understand why we're moving our minds the way we are, right? It makes it more powerful for you when we understand how to create our own alchemy, right? And so, and then we practice together. So that's what we're going to do today. And so I'll talk a little bit about Tonglen. Tonglen means giving and taking. Only in the practice, the taking comes before the giving. And what we're doing is we are taking the suffering we see in an individual, and then we are destroying it, allowing that to dissolve completely. And then in this newly created space, we are sending this light of wisdom, of love to them inside their bodies to bring them back to a state of wholeness, happiness, and joy and well-being. And this practice used to be secret. It was considered a tantric practice, and it wasn't open to a lot of people. And I'm not sure who decided it's time and they're ready, but someone said it's time and they're ready. And so this practice was then opened up to everyone to practice. There's a lot of misconception and around this practice, around like how it works. And so when at the idea, if we just take a moment and think about, I'm gonna use my breath, because in this practice we are directly engaging with our breath, which is why it was considered a tantric practice, because we're engaging, it's a subtle body meditation. We're aware of our gross body very much so. Where we wake up, we can see ourselves, we can feel our body. Our subtle body is a little bit more of a mystery. You know, we have to work really hard to really see or feel what's happening in our subtle body, unless we're having a really heightened emotion of anger or jealousy or just extreme pleasure or happiness. Then we're really in tune with like, wow, I feel this like very big emotion, right? But our subtle body is, if you've ever gone to an acupuncturist or a doctor and you see the human figure outline with a bunch of pathways, looks kind of like veins all throughout the body, that's our subtle body. It's our energetic body, and it's the reason why we are alive right now. It's these pathways carry our energy, our life force through them. And in this practice, or in this system, the way that they explain it is that our thoughts ride on that energy that's flowing through our body. So they say it rides on like a rider and a horse. So I guess this is the rider, this is the horse. So our prana, so our life force, is flowing through and it's carrying thought with it. And I mean, this could be a whole course, and I love geeking out about this stuff. But the main thing to remember is that we have 3 main channels, right? And out of these 3 main channels, our chakras are created, and that's how we have these other pathways flowing through our arms and our legs, and it's what's animating us right now. But what happens is when we're having a moment where we're experiencing pain, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, our prana, right, the winds in our body, the life force, these are words that are interchangeable if you hear me say them. Winds, prana, life force, right? They're moving. If I'm angry, it's like in a certain place in my body. and it's going to make me experience a sort of negative emotion, which will also, my mind will be experiencing these certain thoughts that are limiting or not pleasurable. And so when we do the practice of asana or yoga, like the physical practice, we're working to engage our physical body, which then engages our subtle body to, it's like working on the horse first so that the thought could follow. But when we do Tonglen, we're working on the thought because we're using our mind to move our breath a certain way out of love and compassion, which then moves our prana in the central channel of our body, which is a channel of bliss. Anytime we experience a feeling of happiness, relaxation, just feeling open and at ease, joy, all of these beautiful emotions, love, our energy, our life force is very central in our body, and that's where we want it to be. We don't really want it to be unbalanced to the left or to the right. It's a lot of information, but I wanted to give you a lot of context. And the last thing I'll say before we jump in is we'll be using our breath to move the suffering we see in a person's body, and then we will then compact it into a tiny, tiny little seed, and then we will inhale that and destroy it. The minute it enters our body, because we will have transformed our body by connecting to our deep desire to see the suffering end in the world, right? This is our compassion. And then that alone, this understanding of the fact that we create our reality through the thoughts, speech, and action. So if I have a thought of, I want you to be free from suffering, right? I am then planting the seed for myself to experience a dissolving of my suffering. And there's no way that I can take on someone else's karma, right? This is what we misunderstand often in our reality, that if I see suffering out there, it's separate from me. But in this system, it says it's the opposite, that through the things I think, say, and do, my reality is then projected onto my world, to everything and every being I see. And it's actually empty of that nature. It's not self-existently the way that my mind is experiencing it, but actually it's full of infinite potential. And so if I see suffering in my world, my job is to take personal responsibility, right? And then decide, hey, I'm going to do something about it. You know, it's a lot to hold and think about, but it's important to know that karma grows and it's not a one-to-one. Like, we can look to nature and see that if I plant a banana seed, I'm going to get a banana tree, and it's much bigger. So if I see war in my world, it's not that I've gone and created war in my world per se, but where have I been violent in my thoughts, in my speech, in my actions? You know, these small seeds grow and they create bigger ripenings for us to experience. So really, like, if I want to see things shift in my outer reality, my job is to dissolve and work on the practice within so that my reality begins to reflect that. Does that make sense? Is that too much information for a Thursday morning? It's really cool stuff. It should give you a sense of power. It empowers us to know that we have control, we have agency about how we're experiencing our world, right? So it's really cool. It should excite you and really rest on the trust and faith that you cannot be harmed by this practice, that it's actually a practice where we're dissolving the roots of our suffering. So we're gonna have fun together. I'm so excited to guide your minds in this practice. It's really a beautiful, deep practice, and we'll go deeper a little bit next week, okay? So find a seated position. If you're laying down, that's okay as well, whatever your body needs. Most important thing is that your spine is nice and straight, so that we want the prana that we talked about to flow freely right in front of the spine. And we're going to be engaging our minds beginning at the heart center, which is where our mind, not our brain, but our mind is located. We have our chakra right in front of the spine, so it's a little bit backwards. So that's where we're going to begin during the practice, but I'll guide us through it. So once you've locked in your meditation posture, you can allow the eyes to lower or come to a complete close if that's comfortable for you. And so as you begin to go deeper within, begin by noticing your physical body, acknowledging where it's at today. So just seeing what you're in relationship to within your physical body. Becoming the witness or the observer. Noticing without judging. You can make any final adjustments if you find that your body needs, maybe you need a nice stretch before you really settle. So you can go ahead and do that for yourself if that's what's needed. And then just beginning to notice your body breathing as you continue scanning the landscape of your body. Allowing the breath to release any tension or holding in the muscles. Feeling a nice spacious openness in the body. So feeling all of the muscles in the legs just surrender and let go. Relaxing the lower back, the belly. Feeling your shoulders leveled and allowing the softness trickle down from your shoulder blades down to your arms. And tucking the chin slightly so that the crown of your head is parallel to the heavens, to the sky. Connecting you with your cosmic sight, your intuitive knowing, and your internal guidance. And so begin to bring your point of focus to that center of your heart. This is the space where all of your reality is projected from. And so taking a few rounds of breath in that space and connecting to your motivation for practicing today. And with that, begin to imagine a tiny diamond at the center of your heart. And this diamond, imagine that it's resting on this beautiful blooming flower. And so, with this flower in your heart, it symbolizes your desire to see all beings free from suffering. This is a symbol of your compassion. And that tiny diamond nestled at the center of the flower represents your understanding of where things come from, how things function in the world. It cuts through all illusion. And with these two symbols at your heart, it transforms your body into a body of light, sort of translucent. And it gives you this power, this ability to see inside another person's body. And so, because you have this power, decide to choose someone in your life that might be going through a difficult time. This could be someone that you love, or it could be a neutral person. And once you decide who that person is for you, see them sitting in front of you. And even though you can see them, they're not able to see you. And as you begin to take them in, you begin to see how their suffering has accumulated inside of their body. You see it inside of them as this black smoke. And so out of the love and compassion and the light of wisdom in your heart, you begin to use your breath to begin sweeping up that black smoke towards their heart. Collecting it until it forms a tiny, tiny seed right at the center of their body. Each breath is extremely meaningful and doesn't leave a trace behind. Keeping a sense of relaxed openness as you continue to collect all of that suffering that you see inside of them until you've compacted it enough that it's a tiny seed as small as a chia seed. We'll take a couple more rounds of breath, making sure that we've collected it all. And then on your next inhale, begin to draw out that seed, imagining it travel up through their throat until it comes out of one of their nostrils and comes to hover right in front of you. And as you look at this tiny seed, you have this deep wish to see it completely dissolve for them, to see their suffering completely destroyed. And because of this desire, this tiny flame begins to emerge at the center of your heart. And we'll inhale the seed together on the count of 3. And as soon as it enters your body, that flame will begin to disintegrate the seed. So we'll do it on 3 together. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. And as soon as you see it enter your body, the heat of the flame, the light of your wisdom begins to completely dissolve it. You see a little bit of white smoke exit your nose, and it's all gone. And as soon as that happens, you see this beautiful golden light emerge from your heart center. And you begin to send this light out from your heart into their hearts. This is the light of your love. And this light that wants that person to have everything that they need, to be completely whole. You see this light enter their body and begin to fill them up completely. And once you see that they've been completely lit up with this light of your love, you can begin to anchor that light back into your body, into the center of your heart. Allowing yourself to feel good about moving your mind in a way that created mental imprints for you to create the causes to experience love and to dissolve the roots of suffering. So tapping into a sense of joy at moving your mind this way and dedicating the benefits of your practice to all beings this morning. And so slowly begin to take some deeper intentional breaths, feeling the weight of your body resting on the earth. And taking some small intentional movements, and on your own time, allowing the eyes to flutter open. Thank you, everyone.